Dave is just the type of person that you'd walk into a room and you'd notice him. People are listening to him. He was the center of attention.
I always felt that he made everybody that he came into contact with want to be a better person, you know, in his presence. They wanted to be smarter, wittier, funnier, just the best versions of themselves.
Dave Nee was one of the kindest, most unselfish, best friends I've ever known. And when we started the foundation, in his memory and to perpetuate that sense of empathy and unselfishness, one of the things we wanted to do was try and help people the way Dave helped all of us. Uncommon Counsel has grown out of that spirit to try and raise awareness of the disease that Dave suffered from silently, which was depression. And as we educated ourselves about the disease, we realized that sadly for many reasons that the law student population in particular has a higher rate of depression than the general population.
The field of law often draws very intelligent people and also very organized people, people who really sort of are detail-oriented and really sort of like to have all aspects of their life in control. And I think that sort of personality oftentimes can breed depression because things spiral out of control and you don't know how to fix it.
The kind of education that typical traditional law school is about undermines students' self-confidence in so many ways. And you couple that with the fact that in order to get into law school, they had to do really well as undergraduates. And virtually every single one of them comes into law school hoping and expecting they'll end up in the top 10% of their class, which means that 90% of them are going to be disappointed.
Depression amongst law students or lawyers is kind of the elephant in the room. Most people know about it. Most people know it's more prevalent amongst lawyers and law students, but it's never really discussed in my experience.
Uncommon Counsel is the Dave Nee Foundation's unique program that provides education, awareness for law students about the risks of depression.
There's no one else doing what the Dave Nee Foundation does, and it's so cool to be a part of it and to hear the responses from law students or members of the legal community to say, this is so needed.
We were helping students identify signs of depression and just sort of naming some of the top signs that maybe they could recognize in themselves or their friends. And a student raised their hand and said, I feel all of those signs and I believe that I may be suicidal today. And we had a psychiatrist with us from the school and we just turned to him and said, would you like to leave with a psychiatrist? And he said, yes, very much. And so that in a very real way was somebody who very obviously was waiting for an opportunity like this to come along where he could, self-identify and find some help.
The students who come up individually after presentations and say, thank you, thank you for being here, and thank you as a result of this, I'm gonna make an appointment to talk to a counselor, or thank you because now I'm going to look out for myself and watch for signs that I wouldn't have otherwise known about.
Uncommon Counsel teaches us that there is an entire support system out there to help lawyers and law students maintain healthy lives free from depression. The time has come to put an end to suffering in silence.
Uncommon Counsel lets individuals like myself know that I am not alone and that even in a competitive and no-nonsense career track as law, we can and should get help.
Even more importantly than giving us resources on where to get help, it was taking the shame out of it and breaking down that stigma that was the most important. It was just so wonderful to see this huge group of probably over 100 people sitting in a room having a conversation about mental health. And I was very proud to be a part of the Uncommon Counsel presentation, and I thank you for coming to our school.
If we can get it at law school and get people to understand that just because you're highly intelligent, just because you're highly successful, that doesn't mean you're immune from this problem. It's a problem that affects everyone. and you need to actually deal with it now rather than let it spiral out of control.
It would be wonderful if the Dave Nee Foundation had the resources and the ability to reach out to every law school and be able to talk to the students at every law school and share the Dave Nee story and help educate law students about the prevalence of depression, especially among law students and lawyers.
Now, I mean, we have 15 schools kind of all in the waiting, all in the queue, hoping to get us out there. And that's really exciting to me. I think right now our only limitation is kind of resources and funds to send our people out there to give those talks.
So what I would really love to see is for the Dave Nee Foundation to be truly nationwide and to offer the guidance that it provides to students to the students at every law school in the country.